Where is Hassan Whiteside going to wind up?
Well, the Lakers, the Mavs, the Blazers, those would be the first three teams we know of that have great interest. I suspect we'll hear more, but I mean, fascinating to hear Hassan Whiteside come out yesterday basically and say, I want to make my decision on day one of free agency. Now, I tend to think it'll probably it'll most likely bleed into day two, but that puts the Heat under some immediate pressure because obviously they want to wait and see if they've got a chance at Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's free agency is not going to be decided on July 1st or July 2nd, so the Heat immediately have a tough decision to make. They could lose Whiteside before they really know what their Durant chances are.
Are there teams, you think, Mark, that are still a little concerned with Whiteside and a shorter run of success here and giving him that kind of money?
Oh, no question, because he's going to get the max. So
right.
We're talking it's $94 million if he goes to another team. It's $98 million if Miami gives it to him. I mean, he's basically had one season producing at this level, but we're going to see things this summer that we've just frankly never seen because of the salary cap spike. And there are going to be all manner of players who get contracts that just blow us away. And we just have to change our thinking because it's not even just a deal where, I know, Ryan, this. It's not even just a deal where teams can say, we'll sock the money away later and use it later. You've got to spend $85 million to get to the salary floor.
Mark, the biggest name that's out there that people are going to be watching is Kevin Durant. Where is he going to end up to? There is a theory, and Greeny talked about it, we talked about it a lot this morning, that his future is tied into Russell Westbrook's future. How much of that do you think is going to determine where he ends up?
Well, I think what we've said is that it makes a lot of sense for him to do a 2-year deal with a player option after year one so he could go back into free agency with Russell Westbrook next summer. And that option certainly exists. And I think people probably still see that as the most likely option. I mean, if you make me handicap it today, I would say that Golden State and San Antonio are the two most real threats to steal him away from the Thunder. I think as it stands, the Thunder are still best placed to keep him, but the meetings haven't even happened yet. We'll have to see what kind of impact these meetings have on Kevin Durant. But if you make me give you the answer today, I think San Antonio and most likely Golden State. Golden State is the team that inspires the most fear in Oklahoma City, and if there is a favorite to steal him away from the Thunder, it's obviously the Warriors.
Mark Stein with us here, our NBA insider. It felt like for the longest time there, everyone was saying Phil Jackson will never talk anybody into coming to New York and taking the money. And then it feels like the acquisition of Derrick Rose has brought about some level of optimism. Maybe just having another player of that caliber, at least that name value, might spark some interest in some of the bigger names. What are you hearing about the possibility of the Knicks landing one of the bigger name guys this offseason?
Greeny, I got to be honest with you. I take that trade as an admission from the Knicks that they're not going to get any of the bigger names, that they decided that is their best play to trade for Derrick Rose. And look, I normally applaud bold, and it is a bold gamble, so I don't want to sit here and just outright slam it. But I don't know that anybody else in the league was pursuing Derrick Rose given what's happened to him over the last couple of years. So, do the Knicks have to do this quickly? Might they have been better served to wait a little bit? But, if they go out and get somebody, they can prove me wrong and make me look stupid here. Carmelo Anthony's excited about it, so that's definitely good. And if Derrick Rose really is on the comeback trail, and I know he's working hard at it with Rob McClanahan, his trainer. So if he's ready to take a forward step from last season and inch closer to the guy who won an MVP award in 2011, then this could be a gamble that works for the Knicks because it's not like they gave anything away of huge consequence to get him. But basically, to me, what it says is we know we're not going to do much in free agency, and this is our free agent move.
Mark, so, okay, the Durant thing of the Knicks, we knew it wasn't even realistic, but that's a great way of describing it with the Rose stuff. If we take it back to OKC and you saying, they may be still the favorite, Golden State the biggest threat, how do you read the Ibaka trade and what that has to do with Durant? Because clearly they would have to check with him about, like, hey, this is something we could do and engage his interest. They obviously wouldn't want to upset him if Ibaka was one of his guys.
I think the Thunder believe that it's an enticement to Kevin Durant, that they've made their team deeper. That's a really good trade. I mean, to get Oladipo and a guy in Sabonis who a lot of people were excited about on draft night, Serge Ibaka at his best is a very good player, but they've already spent all this money on Enes Kanter. They have to pay Steven Adams down the road. In Oklahoma City, the internal feeling is that Adams has become basically their best defensive player and has surpassed Ibaka at that end. And the reality is, I think Ibaka wants a bigger role. And at times last season, his dismay with things was visible. He didn't really do a great job of even masking it. So I don't think that Durant's going to look at that move and say, oh, we're breaking up our team, we're starting over. Because basically they've made the commitment to these other two big men. Steven Adams is the future there for sure. So to me, that was your typical Sam Presti 2 steps ahead trade where he got a lot of value back for Serge Ibaka, who's, a year away from free agency. So to me, it actually makes the Thunder more attractive, to be honest with you.
All right, well, all the fun begins as this week goes on. Mark Stein will be all over it for us, and we'll check in again soon.